Hey guys, welcome to another MapleStory 2 video, and today I'm going to be talking about, I guess, my first impressions for the first day of the closed beta 2. Not the closed beta 2, what am I talking about? The head start for MapleStory 2. You know, I heard closed beta so much over the summer that it actually ingrained into my head, but I have to remember that this is the actual release from MS2. I'm super excited, guys. I've been having so much fun. On the first day, I played like 9 hours or something ridiculous. I just went full on ham. I called in sick, even though I wasn't actually sick, so if my professor's watching this, I'm probably going to get some bad bias from them, but oh well, it's worth it. Now, I'm going to be making a video later on about what classes I choose to main, but on the screen right now, you're noticing that I made an assassin. And I also plan to main a runeblader as well, whichever class that I find more interesting. Why the hell is there a squirrel with a giant loaf of bread? What? Okay, anyway, sorry about that. I'm just looking outside my window and I saw a giant squirrel. Right, where was I? Oh yeah, so I'm not entirely sure which one is going to be more favored for me, Runeblader or Assassin, but when it comes out on October 10th during the actual full release, I will go ahead and start, I'll make the decision whether or not I want to main one or the other. Currently, I'm leaning more towards Runeblade. I think Runeblade looks a lot cooler, and just like the thematic elements of it more. Plus, Assassin's kind of an underpowered class right now. The most broken classes in the game, in my opinion, I think, are Knights, Berserkers, and Priests. You just need only those classes and you can destroy every single boss in the game. Assassins were not bad though, of course. I think we're one of the kings of PvP when that gets reinstated. They did take it down, which is kind of a disappointment, but I think Nexon wanted to make sure it was properly balanced before we got in. Of course, we do have the very famous and ever-reoccurring Nexon trademark unscheduled maintenances and the maintenance extensions. The game actually was supposed to come out on at 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, but it didn't come out until 1:30 p.m. because they had to make an extension. It's Nexon, you know, what did you guys expect? That's how it's going to be. But then after that, a little bit today, for about 30 minutes or so, I think, around 2 o'clock is when they had an unscheduled server check, just because we keep getting the authentication failure, please log in again window that keeps popping up, which is not really the most inconvenient thing out there, but if it pops up during a point where you have to heal or whatever, it does get pretty irritating. Overall though, I think I really enjoyed the experience. Technically, for us who are playing the head start for the first 10 days of MapleStory 2, we're essentially playing closed beta 3, because the level cap that's being raised to level 60 and Runeblader coming out is not until October 10th when it fully gets released, so we have all the same features of basically closed beta 1. Fortunately, I was extremely happy that Nexon decided to revert the changes to the experience from epic questing or doing the storyline, because that is guaranteed to get you to level 50. And that's awesome, because I think that it was kind of a stupid move on them to make it so that you had to do a little bit of training in between, because that would eliminate, or I guess remove, the validity of the quests. And why would you do that instead of just doing normal grinding like you would back in MS1? It even further worried me when they increased the experience for just simply grinding on monsters, because I thought maybe they were going to start regressing back into playing on just training in grinding and such. But fortunately, no, they decided to revert it, and I think questing is still going to be as tedious as it is. I think following the story quest line is definitely the best way for you to get to level 50, because it also gives you some decent gear, and then once you reach level 50, you only need to get maybe 100 more gear score and you're good to go. Now, for the players who aren't playing Head Start, or the players who did not have a Founders Pack, don't worry. You're not really missing out on too much. I did talk to a few people who are really they regretted not buying a Founders Pack. At first they thought oh, it's only 10 days, it's not gonna be a big deal. When they saw how many people purchased a Founders Pack and how many people are playing, they were oh shoot, maybe I should have bought one. Well, first of all, technically you still can buy it, you can still play. We have 8 days left. So if you still want to if you want to reconsider and buy a Founders Pack, you still do have time. However, don't stress out on it too much. Even if you only want to buy the cheapest one, the $25 one, really think about it, because MapleStory 2 is going to be out for a while. You know, everyone's always speculating. We have the naysayers who are just not the naysayers, but the doomsayers who basically are saying that, oh no, the game is only going to last a month and the hype is going to die out. That possibility does exist, you know? It's a new game. A lot of games are usually subject to that really insane hype at the very beginning, and it just flops out, like Pokemon Go, Blade and Soul, what have you. But I think MS2, with the way that they've been building it up and the way that they've really been dedicating themselves to making sure that they're listening to the community and fostering and engineering the game as best as they can to make it applicable to us, because they took away the free-to-play or the pay-to-win aspects of the game. They're trying to keep it as friendly as possible for players, so I think Nexon really cares about MS2, and I care about MS2. So I think the game is going to be around for a while, and missing out on 10 days, while sure, it does kind of suck that you do have to wait and while everyone else gets to basically celebrate Christmas 10 days earlier. don't worry about it. Just basically you don't have to worry about it. Of course, it's only $25 really. I mean, yeah, just think about it because like it's not only just the fact that you get to play early, but also just the fact that you get to get a few extra perks, you know, slightly faster movement speed, a little bit more meso, and just slightly cheaper costs in like, let's say, selling stuff in the black market, all of that good stuff. As for my first impressions, let's actually get into it. I think the game is, I don't see any immediate difference right now. However, I think after reading the patch notes, and that'll also be in the description below, I think Nexon's doing a very good job with just making sure that the game is as sustainable and friendly as possible, because one thing I really wasn't happy about was how expensive housing was. Like, you had to buy the plot of land, spend a bunch of extra money to buy furniture and whatnot, and it just was extremely expensive. But Nexon made it so you didn't have to. You can just make your own house right away, and then you can afterwards expand the house as much as you wanted. It was free. A lot of the furniture is free, the basic stuff, and then the rest would cost either meso or merits, and you know, that's perfectly fine. As for the quality of the gameplay, I enjoyed that quite a bit as well. I think the game has been nice and streamlined, and I do enjoy the fact that with the premium membership you can get the instant fast travels, which is also good. And I like that they balanced the dungeons out. I think the dungeons were of relatively modest difficulty, not too much to the point where like you have to spend 20 minutes per dungeon, but it wasn't insanely easy either. And of course, because that everyone was playing at the same time, it was easy to get into a party to just coast through the dungeons very quickly. So overall, I like it. I like it a lot. It's just the only problem is due to the fact that your storyline is almost essential just to unlock most of the areas possible. You can get to level 50. People have gotten to level 50 before even completing the storyline because they were just grinding. But it's like the most streamlined way to do so. And it will become very annoying and very repetitive, especially when you have to play multiple characters. God forbid that Nexon releases a Maple Legion system or link skills in MS2. I really hope they don't, because I don't really like the fact of having to make mules to just enjoy the full experience of the game. Leveling in MS2 is not as core as it is in MS1, where in order to level up to you have to level up to level 240 to get access to certain areas. It's just more of once you get to level 60 in MS2, even though the level cap is level 100, you only need to reach level 60 to unlock pretty much all of the content. Getting further beyond that point is it's more for just trophy rights, you know, just to brag about it, or just like, you know, basically to pull off a Fangblade or Tiger, because back then you only had to really reach level 120 and then you were good to go. I think it's kind of like, I think it's either Blade and Soul, or actually no, it was Black Desert Online, I believe, where the level cap is infinite, but at that point, but you only have to reach like a certain level, and then after that it was extremely inefficient to get any further beyond that point, just because the experience rate was divided by like 50. So I think that's kind of the same way they're doing MapleStory 2, and I do enjoy that quite a bit. You only have to reach level 60 when the level cap is released on October 10th and Runeblade comes out. Apart from that though, you guys already know I made a first impressions for Closed Beta 1, and the experience is the same. We're essentially playing Closed Beta 3, us head starters, because they're not really implementing any of the big new changes until everyone gets access to the game, which is perfectly fair. It's just, as implied in the name Head Start, the whole point of the Head Start is to give players a chance to get ahead of everybody else. Like, I've been going super hard, I've been doing a bunch of dungeons, I've been grinding a lot. I actually got super lucky, and I got Kavan's Wings. I know you guys are going to be like, why do you pronounce it Kavan instead of Catfan? I just find Catfan, I don't think, it just doesn't seem the right way to pronounce his name. I feel like it's Kavan, I feel like it's a silent T. Although I don't know which language would have a silent T, I just want to pronounce it that way. So I'm already doing pretty well in terms of my gear score. Not nearly as high as other people. Some people have already reached 2200 and they're taking out the Fire Dragon, and I'm only at about 1850 or so. But I've been training a lot, and I've been trying to get as much as I can. I still have school, I still have a few other things to do, and some people, they do have all the time in the world to play this game, and that's alright with me. As much as I'm a try-hard player, I also still want to enjoy the game. You know, you don't want to burn yourself out. We still have plenty of time. Those of you who are watching who are also in the Head Start, try not to go too crazy on it, because like I said, this game is going to be around for a while. All the contrarians who are saying that you shouldn't play this game because it's going to die after like the initial hype, kind of like Pokemon Go, that possibility, once again, it does exist, but I think with the foundation that we've laid upon for MapleStory 2, and as much as people have been saying the hype died out just because Nexon took too long to release it, I really understand why they took so long too. They announced the game's closed beta in May 10th. It wasn't until literally like 5 months after that they released the actual game. But think about it, if you want something perfect, you can't rush it. Like, Nexon's been doing so much work. It's not like they were just too lazy to release the game. They just wanted to make sure that the game was all set and ready to go when it came out. And I think it's a fantastic job that they've been doing so far. I'm really excited for it. I'm looking forward to doing everything there is to do. And everyone who's really skeptical about it, or people who are just saying, people who are hating on the game just because of the company, try not to, you know, it's a different game. You can't compare MapleStory 1 to MapleStory 2. They're totally different games. I know I did make a few videos such as that were comparing the likes of MS1 and MS2, but the more I thought about it, you can't. Like, the playstyle is different, the gameplay is different. Sure, the lore and the thematic elements of it, such as like just the slimes, the cubes, the mushrooms, and all that stuff, sure, it may look very similar to MapleStory 1, but in terms of the overall aspect, the essential experience of each game, it's different. You can't really make that comparison between each other. So I guess you can say for this video, I was just mostly talking about what I think, how you should approach MapleStory 2 when you get into it. Those of you who are already getting into it, and those of you who are about to get into it on October 10th. But for now, I think I'm going to get back into it. This video is a bit all over the place, I do apologize, but I just want to get a video out for you guys. I'm trying to figure out a good balance between playing the game and making videos for the game, which is kind of hard to do because I do want to spend a lot of time on the game, and I also have to remember to do my homework and my projects and whatnot, but we'll figure out, we'll see how it goes. Anyways, that's going to be it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.